All right, people. It is Friday. Let's set up Periscope and let's rock and roll. Hassan, top of the morning to you, sir. Morning, Giovanni. Again, welcome to the team. Andrea, good morning. Rashad, Mr. Black Wall Street, good morning. Kelvin, good morning. Carvel, good morning. Yeah, I'll send you the schedule. Go on Turning Machine too and check it out. But I'll be heading out, heading your way, going to Chicago, y'all. So if y'all in the Chi, y'all want to meet up, let's talk. But I'll be heading out probably in a couple hours. Their first game, I think, is at 5 today. Carvel. It's at 5 today. So my 17-year-old son is playing. My 15-year-old team fell apart, so they're not playing. All right, give me a second. Stop it. Morning, Tawana. All right. I'm just trying to get a title up on Periscope real quick. Come get your money strategy. All right. All right. Renata, good morning. Uh-oh, now YouTube wants to freeze up on me. How y'all like my Ralph Angel bibs, right? Can y'all tell I've been watching Queen Sugar? Takes me about a week and a half to watch a full episode, right? Because I only watch when I lay down and go to sleep. And I only lay down and go to sleep to lay down and go to sleep. So when I turn on the episode, I get about 10 minutes into it and I'm out, right? All right, let's go ahead and start the show this morning. Have your questions ready. Let's do some Q&A. Let's talk about financial freedom this morning, and we'll recap this week's shows as well. All right.
Like Kanye West says, having money is not everything, not having it is. So Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's the root of all evil. You don't like money so much, why you get up and go to work? Yeah, that's how you do get your boss on it. Everything you got to say. I'm just trying to leave a legacy for my money. It's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. And now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, Mr. H. Cortez.
Good morning, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning Live with your main man, H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working men and women all over this great nation of ours. It is truly an honor, privilege, and a pleasure to come to you live and direct from the Black Wealth Movement Studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. What is the Black Wealth Movement? If you guys have not been paying attention, the Black Wealth Movement is literally sweeping the country. We are teaching people real wealth building strategies, how to start your own financial education franchise, how to use that franchise to teach people how to minimize their taxes, eliminate their debt, fix their own credit, and build wealth through asset accumulation. Let me say it again. 5 core principles to building wealth: entrepreneurship, tax minimization, debt elimination, credit education, and asset accumulation. If you are serious about any of those 5 things and you have not already joined the Black Wealth Movement, the question is, why not? The question is, why not? We had 9 new members join the movement yesterday alone. People are starting to wake up and they're starting to realize that economic empowerment is the new black power. Economic empowerment is the new black power. And if you don't have a team of people that you're running with that is talking economic empowerment for our community and for you and yourself personally, ask yourself, is it time to redraw your circle? So if you're interested in the Black Wealth Movement, simply text the word or the keyword phrase Black Wealth Movement to 314-874-6887. Again, text the phrase Black Wealth Movement to 314-874-6887. I'd love to pay it forward for you to join the movement. You'll learn all of that and more for just $35 per month. That's it, $1.17 per day. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, let's connect and we'll let you know what it's all about. And if you see an opportunity for yourself, great. If not, that's cool too. But find somebody, find a network, find a circle, find something that's going to help you get your personal finances in order. And then as you guys do that collectively, you start working together to use your excess capital to rebuild the black community. That is my hope for everyone who is joining our movement, and also for those who are building wealth in other movements, because I know Evan has something going on that's really dope. I know Brother Dre has something going on that's really dope. So the name of the game is to get yourself right personally as far as your finances are concerned, so that we can come together and start rebuilding our community. Do me a huge favor, if you're checking us out on Periscope, please invite your friends and followers to come check us out. If you're checking us out on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed yet, and go ahead and grab the link to today's show and share it on your favorite social media timeline. And for all of my Facebook folks, get your questions ready and go ahead and share this with your stream, and remind me in the middle of the show to ask those who are coming on a little bit later to share the show as well. And the hearts and the likes and the thumbs up don't really mean anything to me, guys, but they do in the world of Facebook, meaning that when you do that, Facebook sees us as having valid content, and whenever we go live, they will push it out to more and more and more people, so we can educate people on financial freedom. So for those of you who are new and never seen the show before, I'd like to let you know exactly who the show is for. The show is for risers and grinders only. If you're ready to get up, get out, and get something, this is your show. The show is for legacy builders. If you're thinking 1, 2, 3, 4 generations down the road, yeah, this is your show, because building wealth is a marathon relay. Not only is it a distance run, but then you have to hand the baton to the next generation. And if that's your thought process, is that your mindset when it comes to building wealth, this is your show. On the other hand, who is the show not for? The show is not for anybody sitting on their can looking for a handout. The show is not for those who have a problem for every solution. The show is not for that person who's got that weird relationship with money, where you think money is evil, you think capitalism is a dirty word, you think wealthy people are snobs. If that's you, get off my stream, because everybody on the stream is wealthy. And notice that we talk a lot about wealth and hardly ever about riches, because there's a difference. Wealth simply means there's an abundance of resources. Money is just one of those resources. When you are wealthy, you have an abundance of all sorts of resources. Peace, happiness, joy. We're talking about an abundance of positive relationships. We're talking about an abundance of other resources, connections, businesses, and I mean, it's just more to it than just money and just cash as a resource. We're talking about an abundance of creativity, an abundance of imagination. All of those things are resources, and that's what it is that we're doing, right? So, appreciate that. And like I tell you each and every morning, if you've never seen a future billionaire before, I want you to take a screenshot, and watch me work. 2027. You're asking yourself, can a man become a billionaire from nothing in 10 years? Ask the founders of Uber. Ask the founders of Google. Ask the founders of Facebook. Did it take Facebook 10 years for Mark Zuckerberg to become a billionaire? Uber is 8 years old, 9 years old, and worth $3 billion. Come on, man. Y'all better start getting your vision right so that you can see further. You know, that meme that goes around that says wealthy people plan for 3 generations, poor people plan for Saturday night. Don't let that be you, man. I'm looking at 3, 4, 5, 6 generations. I'm talking about the financial health mentor being and leaving an impact on this world. 100 years from now, people will be studying the impact that I made on the black community. Right? Is that vain to say? Is that egotistical to say? No, that is my plan. I am here to leave a mark and not a stain on this world. And you can't do that if all you can see is next week. If all you can see is tomorrow. If you just live for today and don't think about next generation. You don't think about, I'm thinking about 100 years from now, how many of my descendants will have my name, my actual name? How many of my children's children will know the history of me and my wife and what we've done for our family and our community so well that they will have all named their children after us? Right? My man said, it's too early for this. Shut up, bro. That's what you get on Periscope. It's too early for what? It's too early to start dreaming. It's too early to start looking at your life for what it can be. Nah, I ain't never too early for that, bro. So that's what we're doing. So we are building wealth one family at a time. And if you need help with that, then let us get to it. So we do Q&A from our Facebook fans, right, live and direct. So go ahead and click on give me the name of your business and your brand, and then ask your question or your concern or your fill in the blank or whatever. And we want to help you get your brand right. We're going to help you get your brand right. All right, so here we go. Yesterday's show, we talked about overcoming poverty consciousness, right? What is poverty consciousness? That is the belief system that you have internally that literally spawns every thought that you have, and those thoughts leads to your words, those words lead to action, those actions lead to habit. And the question is this: are your habits leading you only to poverty? If so, then you have to change your belief system, point blank and period. If your beliefs are leading to your thoughts are leading to words, words are leading to actions, and your actions are leading to habits, and those habits are leading you to poverty, the only way to change is to go all the way back to your belief system. And we talked about the fact that you have to question everything, question every decision, question every action, question every step that you take, question everything about who it is that you are. And sometimes we refuse to change because the things that we have got embedded in us came from people that we know, love, trust, and admire. And because those things came from people we know, love, trust, and admire, we don't want to get rid of that modus of operandi, right? We don't want to get rid of that operating system. But if that operating system is not serving you, that is no disrespect to your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather, your uncle, or whoever it is that put that in you. If it's not serving you today, no disrespect to them. Chances are they put that in you in the name of protecting you and keeping you safe. But if that's not serving you today and it's only leading you to poverty, you have to have the courage to change that belief system. Point blank, period. So we talked about not only do you stop doing that thing which is negative, you have to replace that thing with something positive. Not only do you stop doing the thing that's leading you to poverty, you have to replace that thing with something that is going to bring you to wealth. Otherwise, when the demon flees and it searches about for a place to inhabit and finds none, it comes back to the same place that it left and find it clean. And not only does it come back and take up residence, it brings 7 other spirits with it, right? We talked a little bit about that scripture from Matthew 44, right? When the unclean spirit leaves, it searches about for somewhere to stay, can't find anything, comes back to you and says, wait a minute, this space that I left is now cleaned up, empty and void. Let me come back in, and I'll bring a couple buddies with me. So if the laws of physics say no two things can occupy the same space in the same time, when you get rid of a negative habit, don't leave that space empty. Fill it with a positive habit. That way the negative habit has nowhere to come back to, right? That was yesterday's show. On Wednesday, we had I don't have my notes for Wednesday. Wednesday, we had phenomenal female entrepreneur, and we had Alex Merritt on talking about relationships. Anytime you guys want to start putting your questions in, I'm fine with that. I just recap the show until you give me the name of your brand and your question, right? Anytime you want to start doing your questions, I'm fine. But Wednesday, we talked about Alex Merritt, and she created this fun card game called The War on Love. And when I asked her about that offline, you guys didn't get to hear that conversation. You will, though, if you subscribe to the Best of Talking Money in the Morning Live. You'll be able to get some of my best episodes sent directly to your email in downloadable podcast format, as well as in the video format as well. But we talked about that, and I said, what's the deal with the art of love? And she said, you know what? I mean, not the art, the war on love. And she said, you know how the war on everything else is a big joke? And it only serves to enhance and bring attention to the thing that we are fighting a war on. For instance, the war on terror never stopped terror. It just brought more attention to terror, right? The war on drugs never stopped drugs. It just brought more attention to drugs. So she's hoping that the same effect it happens when people start talking about the war on love, right? The war on love, there is no war that can ever kill love, but if everybody recognizes that there is a war on love, it will bring more attention to love, and by default, we'll start loving each other better. So that was pretty cool. But this is a card game that you play with your mate, and it asks some very intimate questions so that you can get intimate, get to know one another a little bit more. So I'll just read a few of these. True or false, couples should have separate bank accounts, right? That's something that you probably should be talking about when you start getting into a serious relationship with somebody. What's the best way to hit on a woman? Let's see. What's a good reason to break up, right? How do you flirt? Should a married woman always keep it sexy, right? How often should a couple have sex? That's another one. Make up a new dating rule. Who has it easier, men or women? So this is a card game that you play in small, intimate settings so that you can create the dialogue around how men think about relationships versus how women think about relationships. So that was Wednesday's show. Do we have any questions yet? I can't wait to come and see. Congratulations. Let's see. So my girl Lady Ray just said she's announcing EM3 Productions, WUTM Radio, the WU in the Lou. My new radio station / TV studio I own with Dallas Jamison and Eric Easy Weathersby, located in Overland. So she's got an open house coming up to come see their new space. Cool. Congratulations on that, Ray. You know the Financial Health Mentor will be in the building. My brand is Blueprint to Millions. What would be a solid tagline? Okay, so I like that, Chad. He says his brand is Blueprint to Millions. What would be a solid tagline? Help the brother out, y'all. So I would think if I'm doing Blueprint to Millions, I'm saying, okay, what would be a solid tagline? Here's what I teach when we talk about branding and marketing. Your name or your brand name should speak directly to the audience that you're talking to, as well as your tagline. So Blueprint to Millions could have a tagline that speaks more directly to your to your target audience. So whether your target audience is single men, single women, whether your target audience is working class people, whether your target audience is the black community, blueprint to millions, diagram your future today, right? Because you think about a blueprint, you think about a diagram. I don't know, blueprint to millions. Who else got some suggestions for Mr. Chad, right? Blueprint to millions. You're a financial architect, right? Because an architect draws up the blueprints, right? So you think about a play on words that can fit with blueprint, but also speaks directly to your target market, your target audience, right? So I love that blueprint to millions, though. That is awesome. I love that. Planning future gains. Can don't minds find success with anything? Yes, they can find a tremendous amount of success remaining in poverty. Because remember, don't minds have a problem for every solution. Right? I'll give you a short testimony. I put a video up of Jay-Z talking behind the scenes of coming together with the 444 album, and he's just talking about where black people are and why that OJ statement resonated. You know, how OJ got to a certain level where he said, I'm not black, I'm OJ. So I put that out, and it's getting a tremendous amount of, I've reached over 6 million people, about 2 million views, right? And someone commented that because I put my link on there to the Black Wealth Movement, he said, hey man, I thought that when I clicked the Black Wealth Movement, I was going to see a link that took me to supermarkets being built, technology centers being put together, and all of that stuff, so I can support. And basically, he called the Black Wealth Movement BS. So that is somebody who has a problem for every solution. So I responded like, brother, build supermarkets with what? Build technology centers with what? Black people collectively are broke. And of course, everybody's going to come back and say, we not broke. We got 1.2, 1.8 trillion dollars of spending power. Let me say this about your 1.2, 1.8 trillion dollars in spending power. Unless everybody is on the same spending page, that is not power at all. That's 1.2, 1.8, almost $2 trillion in consumer power. Because if you're not buying the right things, if you're not aggregating that resource of money, then there is no power in that. So don't minds have a problem for every solution. So he said he's looking for me to guide him to a link or show him something where supermarkets are being built, technology centers are being built. He mentioned something else. Schools are being built so he can support. Well, why are you looking for something to support? You see that as vacant in our community. Jigga, build it, is what I wanted to say, right? But I keep it peaceful on my streams and stuff like that. I don't really go after people. But he's talking about our movement, saying that it's not worthy of being called a movement because it's not doing what he sees that needs to be done. So you're looking for somebody else to build something for you to support while you're claiming or complaining that it's not there. Build it. You build a supermarket so I can support. You build a supermarket so my 500 people in the Black Wealth Movement can come support your supermarket. How about that? So, don't minds have a problem for every solution. Can they be successful at anything? They can be successful at staying right where they are. Yep, get off your assets and go build some assets, right? Anybody else with questions? I'll continue to recap this week's show. So that was Wednesday's show. Tuesday's show, we talked about the Black Wealth Movement and positioning our people to gentrify our own cities. Now, when the brother made that comment, I could have talked to him about phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4 of the Black Wealth Movement, where that's exactly what we're going to do, right? But you can't build schools, hospitals, resource centers without no flipping resources. So the goal of the Black Wealth Movement is to create about 1,000 independently wealthy black individuals with consciousness. Because I know what you're saying. Man, we got all these celebrities with all this money. What's the problem? We got a bunch of black people with money and no consciousness. And then we got a bunch of black people with consciousness and no money. So what the Black Wealth Movement is doing is taking people with the consciousness and saying, hey, your ideas are very noble. Yes, your heart for our community is very passionate. But that alone will not change one iota in our community until you get your money right personally. Because what happens when everybody starts to join a movement? It's great. Everything is cool. We're all in good standing. Everything is great. But when I'm part of a movement to help put out the fires in the black community and my house is on fire, what fire do you think takes precedence? The fire in the community or the fire at my house? So the goal of the Black Wealth Movement is to create 1,000 independently wealthy black people with consciousness for our community. So let me ask you this. How is it even possible to stop 1,000 independently wealthy people with the same agenda or a similar agenda? It's almost impossible to stop that. Right? That's where leadership comes in versus a single leader. It's hard to stop that. Right? You have a bunch of little cells of people who are all independently wealthy in St. Louis. We got another group independently wealthy in Cleveland. Got another group independently wealthy in Chicago, where I'm headed this morning. We got another group independently wealthy in VA. We got another group independently wealthy in Kansas City, in Texas. All operating with the same agenda. That's the community development and economic empowerment where we live. So what happens when I can reach out to a Pierre Lawson and say, hey bro, I just bought my whole city. Yeah, I grew up in a city called Wellston. It's about 10 square miles. I just bought my whole city, bro. I just bought all of it. No, you just bought a couple blocks? No, I just bought the city. Yeah, the whole city is going down. I just bought all of it. I need some investors. And he can say on the phone with his word, because I know that his resources are verifiable, put me down for a block, big bro. I got you. Pierre Lawrence got a block. I can call my girl Sandra Hankerson out of Atlanta. Hey Sandra, hey, I just bought my whole city where I grew up. You just bought a couple blocks? No, I just bought the whole city. I need some investors. Oh bro, you know I'm coming. Put me down for a block. Now I done just sold 2 blocks in the city. I sold one to Pierre and I sold one to Sandra. Then I called my brother Carvel over in Chicago. Hey Carvel, I just bought my whole city where I grew up. That's cool, man. You got a couple buildings on the main strip in your city? No, I bought the whole city. Yeah, I bought the whole city. It's about 10 square miles. I need some investors. Man, put me down for 2 blocks. That's where we're going, phase 3, phase 4. But we can't even get there if your personal finances are a wreck. Because again, I give a damn about the fire that's going on in the community when my house is on fire. So we're helping black people put out their fires in their own houses personally. Yeah, we're probably going to fly around the world a couple times. I'm not saying that I'm not going to enjoy my wealth. What I am saying is there's work to be done. And I'm connecting with people that's willing to do the work. Connecting to people that's willing to do the work. Who else? Who else? No questions, no questions. So that's what we talked about on Tuesday, positioning black people to gentrify our own cities. See, there's a couple things that black people respect, right? And sometimes even respect enough to fear. And that's the colonization of our cities. That's the colonization of our town. That's the gentrification of our... So, hell, why not we be the ones that gentrify it? I can sit in my community and watch the neighbor move out next door, watch them let their house fall apart, and I'm saying, man, I can't wait. In fact, I'm going to go call the city and tell them that they're living in a condemned property. Because if that's how they're going to treat where they live, then I want them going away from around here. And when they go away from around here, I buy that property myself before it sits and becomes vacant for 10 years and the grass overgrows it. Nope, I buy it immediately and I restore it immediately and I bring in a quality family that are like us. See what black people don't get, what a lot of people don't get is real black people don't like jiggers and ninjas either. We ain't got time to be dealing with no ninjas and jiggers and no. We want to be around other black people. So we can create those environments ourselves, but we got to be willing to get rid of the riffraff. Malcolm X is famous for saying in one of his speeches, ask the audience is, if you're willing to die for the cause, raise your hand. And a few people raised their hand. And he said, if you're willing to die for the cause, the first thing that you have to do is be willing to kill those who didn't raise their hand. Huh? Wait, what? You promoting black on black crime here? No, get the analogy of what he's saying. If you're willing to die for the cause, then you have to be willing to deal with those of us who look like us that aren't. And we have to drive those people out. We have to drive those people out and continue to replace those people with those of us who are committed fully to the cause of rebuilding our communities. Committed fully. You're not committed fully and you want to laugh, joke, play around, keep treating this battleground like a playground. You can't do that around here, because I need to be surrounded by people that's going to have my back if stuff pops off. Right? So, who else? Double A is writing a book for 13 Entertainment. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We as black people have to show we are not going to let our own people bring us down. Yeah, rise up to a higher expectation. Yeah, we've got to be, you got to be, first we got to give them a solid, sound plan and opportunity to change. Once we give them that solid, sound plan and opportunity to change and they change not, you got to go. I can't talk to my brothers and sisters in the streets of St. Louis and Chicago and Philly and Watts and all of these places who are bringing down a community because nobody's giving them a plan. But once we give them a solid plan that says, hey, my brother, I know you got 2 felonies. You can't really go work corporate America. You can't go work McDonald's because you got 6 kids and that's going to be tough for you. Let me show you how to bring in the same type of revenue that you're getting from these streets. Will you stand up straight if that's the case? And we give them chance and opportunity to prove that reality. And if they prove that reality and they will stand up straight based on making a decent living, then they can stick around. But if they don't want that ultimatum, they don't want to accept that, then we have to be willing to drive them out of our communities. We have to be willing to drive them out of our communities, right? So I would like to use the title as a hashtag now, even though it's not done. Should I wait until the book is completed No, what I would do is, if I were you, Angela, I would go ahead and think about what you want the book to look like. And then I would go ahead and get your cover of the book done. And then I would start using the hashtag along with the cover of the book, so that you would have it on record as this hashtag is related to a tangible product or service, if you don't want to go through the proper channels to copyright your book title and start using the hashtags. Right? So if you don't want to go through those channels, I would start getting the cover of the book done. Yeah, you can claim the hashtags, but I don't know how much claiming the hashtags will reserve the book title as far as keeping the rights, right? Reserving the rights. So you might want to copyright the book title. I would, like I said, I would just go get my book title, my book cover designed, and put it out as coming soon, and go ahead and start using the hashtag in conjunction with the cover photo for that book. You guys quiet this morning, man. No questions? I think, let's see. Who else do we have? Giovanni, I am looking to do a training in Chicago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to study my son's basketball schedule this morning while we're on the road. And I think we have time to do something on Saturday. I think the way his games lay out on Saturday, we'd have time to do something, because I think he plays early in the morning on Saturday, and then we have the rest of the afternoon. But it's really based on wins and losses, how well they do in their pool in today and tomorrow's games. So we'll figure something out. But yes, we are definitely going to do something when I get to Chicago. Yeah, still copyright title, but anyone that uses that hashtag will show up and things associated with it. Yeah, that's how it works. But yeah, you can do that for sure. But I would take it a step further and get your book cover done. And that way, that discourages a lot of people when they see, oh, this is a title of an existing book, so I won't even mess around with it. Even if the book won't be published until next year, right? Yeah, connect with my man Pierre Tawana. Brother's doing some good things, some big things, teaching trading and some of that stuff in some of his private groups. So definitely connect with Pierre. No question. So that was Tuesday's show. Monday's show, we had my man live and direct from Ox School of Construction. We have my man on from Ox School of Construction. And we're just talking about how the trades work, right? How the trades work. If you don't understand how the trade schools and the trades period are necessary, you wonder why when we do get to a place to rebuild our communities and they have all of these projects, they build stadiums and stuff in black neighborhoods, right? Guess who does that work? Not us. Because we don't understand the power of the trades. We don't understand the power of the trades. See, they talk about what you should be going to school for, IT, technology, all of that stuff. And that is wonderful. And I think we should have people well versed in how to do that. Well versed in how to do that. But there are still millions of structures going up where a hammer and a nail is still needed. There is still millions of structures going up every day where a good brick mason is needed. There are still millions of structures going up right now where a good welder is needed. And right now, there's not enough of us in our communities with those skills, because one, when you're helping young people get those skills, I was at a community event the other day and with one of our state senators here and from the St. Louis area. And she had this event for young people to come out and learn about all the wonderful job training that's there. And the event had a good turnout, but there were no young people there. It was all old people who were trying to suck up to the senator and all of that kind of stuff, trying to make connections and networking. But the event was for young people because she's trying to help young people get this training. And I was trying to give her a suggestion. And I slid her my business card and I said, hey, Senator, the problem you have with getting young people into this event is the fact that young people want to be bosses today. And as long as you keep promoting this event as a job seminar, a job anything, they're not showing up. On the other hand, if you bring in some young entrepreneurs, 25, 26, 27 years old, own their own architectural firms, own their own construction companies, own their own plumbing companies, own their own general contracting companies, then you can tell these young folks that, yes, I am a boss. If you want to be a boss, you can become a boss through going through this education and training program to get these skills. And you can see the prestige of me owning my own business, but I can only own my own business because I acquired these skills. Now get your black butt in these job training programs, get these skills, work for somebody else for 2.5 to 3 years, then strike out and build your own empire. This is what young folks want to hear today. You keep talking jobs, man. They have sit back and watch their parents work jobs, and still struggle. You can't attract no young folks today talking about job. Young people want to be a boss today. But show them that through acquiring a skill and perfecting their skill by working for somebody else for a limited time can lead to them having that boss mentality, that boss life. That's what has to happen in order for you to attract the young folks. But she said, I got your card. It's like, okay. I mean, I'm really good at branding and marketing. If you want to market somebody to get somebody in the room, I can help. If you want to get some kids in the room, I can tell you the strategy that you're using ain't going to do it. You want to get young people aged 17 to 25 in the room, I promise you, keep throwing jobs down their throat isn't going to do it. Not going to do it. You got to speak to them in their language. That's with anything, branding and marketing. So Planet Future Games did have a fill in the blank. So let me give you that. The key to brand building is consistency. The key to brand building is consistency. Consistency. Think of all the famous brands that you know of right now. And what are they really, really good at? They are good at consistently staying in front of your face. They are good at consistently bringing to you the same message. And they are good at consistently putting out a high enough volume of content so they stay in your face. The key to brand building is consistency. 3 levels of consistency. You have to be consistent with your content. I put out content every day, about 10 times a day. That's consistency. You have to be consistent with your message. The message that I put out is the same. Black wealth movement, building wealth for the black community. Am I skilled in a lot of other places? Yes, you guys know that I teach branding and marketing, but is that the message that you see consistently from me? No, if you pull my coattail and say, hey brother, can you help me with some branding and marketing stuff? Can you point me in the right direction? I can give you some tips. But that is not my primary message. Even though I could probably make 10 times more money if I became an online marketing coach. But me becoming an online marketing coach doesn't do a whole lot for the community on a major scale. Does wonders for me. I could probably be at a $10,000 a month income tomorrow if I shifted my focus to just building a brand for me. But that is not going to be enough. Me making $10,000 a month, even if I took that whole $10,000 a month and poured it into the black community, is a half of a raindrop in an ocean of problems. On the other hand, if I can teach wealth building and I can help bring 1,000 people to the table who's got $10,000 a month to invest in the black community, now we can make a dent. So 3 forms of consistency. Be consistent in putting out your content on a regular schedule. So daily is my regular schedule. Be consistent with the volume of content that you're putting out. That's number 2. You can't have a daily or a weekly, one day you're putting out 2 pieces of content. Next day I don't hear from you. 2 days from now, 3 days from now, I hear from you. No. Daily, regularly scheduled, and consistently high enough volume to get the results you want. And then the 3rd form of consistency, you have to stay consistent with your message. Some of you guys do a lot of stuff and you aren't successful at any of it is because you're promoting a lot of stuff. And people don't know exactly what to go to you for. What is your 10? Building wealth is my 10. Branding and marketing coaching is my 8. Building wealth is my 10. Branding and marketing coaching for me is like an 8. So I need people to know what my 10 is. So when you say, your pastor says, hey, I'm thinking about doing something in the realm of finances, I need to bring somebody in. You say, hey, pastor, I know the only guy you can bring in is H. Cortez. Because you know that's my 10. There are other branding and marketing coaches who are 10. If you have an opportunity to go to somebody who's a 10 at branding and marketing, don't come to me. Go to somebody who's a 10 at what they do. Right? So that's kind of where you are with branding. The number 1 thing is consistency, man. Gotta be consistent. I need your help for someone needing to work, but he has a incarceration background. Inbox me. All right. It says, I may have you to do a webinar for my students for taxes. I know you are the man with the taxes, and taxes are complex when you are a trader. Yeah, let's connect, Pierre. Let's connect. Okay, Pierre, do you know something about Quincy Jones ETF? All right, let's see. That's terrible. All right, let me see. What else do we have? The young people must go into IT, medical, and financial sectors. These fields generate the highest levels of wealth and are future-proof. This is where black kids must go to schools for. Indians, let's see. What did we say? Indians and Asians only in those fields, and it's purposeful. Yeah. I love that. You have to definitely go somewhere where those skills will come, that you can use those skills and come back and serve the community, right? You got to be able to use those skills to come back and serve the community. Because guess what? Ain't nobody going to come build us no hospital, y'all. Ain't nobody going to do that. So unless we go and learn the skills needed to come back to our communities and build a hospital, we'll never have one. We'll never have one. What's the purpose of this broadcast? If you don't know, then you ain't it. Nothing wrong with entrepreneurship, but our kids want to be bosses in the entertainment industry. There is no wealth to generate there. Only a select few can make it there. I agree with you there to a degree, Pierre. I think, again, if we go back to technology, that's where they're messing up. They want to be bosses in front of and from the performance standpoint. When you have a technology background, I want to tell you something about the California Gold Rush. I want you guys to always remember this. There's two people that got paid during the California Gold Rush. There are the select few that did find and did strike gold. They got paid. But then there are the hundreds of companies that sold the products needed to pan and dig and mine gold. They got buku paid. And they're still around today. Companies like Levi and some of the major tool manufacturing companies are still around today. So when we think about entertainment, we're missing the mark, and we're not owning or producing any of the equipment needed to produce music, to produce movies, to produce films. So I think that you can be a boss in the entertainment industry. If you love that industry, that's fine, but find a way to own a piece of it. And that's what we're not doing. We want to we're just now getting to the place where we own our own talent, but that industry is filled of industries within that industry that we can develop some ownership in. We can create apps. We can create the beat machines that everybody runs out and buys. We can create the microphone that everybody uses and they start out with, right? Those are some of the things that we can start looking at ownership in. And that's, again, Pierre, something that we can talk to our young people about when it comes to technology. You want to use technology to build an empire for yourself? How about you learn the inner workings of circuit boards that people use for these digital mixers? And now you stay connected to your passion, which is music, which is entertainment, which is that industry. But now you're owning a piece of it and not just performing in it. To establish your trade lines, you need to blank, blank, and blank. So you need three things to establish your trade lines. So you definitely need to set up your DUNS number. You definitely need to get your EIN, and you definitely need to open some accounts with companies that report to Dun and Bradstreet. I think Quill is one of them that a lot of people use when they're establishing credit. I think Granger may be another one. I think Office Max or Office Depot does it, where they will invoice you for your products and they report to the Dun and Bradstreet so that you start developing your business credit score. So to establish your trade lines, you definitely want to go ahead and get your business established. That means you don't want your business address to be a residence. You want it to be a commercial building. You don't want your business, you want to go ahead and set up separate business phone lines. A lot of times they require you to have an 800 number. Uline is another one, Quill and Granger. Yeah, you definitely want to establish these trade lines. So you contact Uline, Granger, and Quill to start setting it up. Now, as you're doing this, know that those three entities require that they have a minimum monthly purchase. So that means when I open the account with Quill, Quill might say that, yes, we will invoice you, but only if you order $100 a month worth of stuff. So you have to be prepared for that, right? But it's worth it if you have the capital to do that over 6 months to a year, and they start reporting to those trade lines. They start reporting to Dun and Bradstreet. So a commercial address, I would say you need that. You need, of course, your EIN number. You may even want to look into and connect with my girl Yvette Best on whether or not you want to go ahead and set up the LLCs and all that stuff, get your corporate structure right. But corporate address, EIN number, and business bank account. So have all those three things in place, and then you start setting up those trade lines. All right. Wow, they're really digging over there on Periscope. Yeah, man, Periscope is a trip. Periscope is a trip. And I don't have the time because I'm dealing with you guys. A lot of people on Periscope, they only do Periscope so they can see and they can block certain people. I don't have time for that, man. And it's not a distraction for me, so I'm okay. So yes, you can, Tanisha. All right. So let's see who else we got. Got it, getting it. Will do. Bank account is next. Yeah. So once you're there, and then once you got all of those trade lines set up and they're reporting to done, then you start looking at credit builder loans for your banking situation. For your business credit. There are certain credit card companies that will give you credit instantly, right? There are certain banks that you can take them secured money to get a credit builder loan. You take them $1,000, they put it in a CD or some sort, and then they will write you a check and give you that same $1,000 back in the form of a loan. Now you start paying that back, and that builds your business credit. Right? So there are a lot of resources that you can use to build business credit. Office Max might decline you if you don't have those three. Okay, good deal. Appreciate that, Lawrence. Child support presentation. I don't get that. Robert, break that down for me. Got to get it. Child support presentation. Build business credit. Yeah, you want to build that separate. Now, at the same time you're doing that, Ray, if you are using our Smart Money Kit in the Black Wealth Movement, then you can also be improving your personal credit. And sometimes you can use personal credit as a guarantee for the business credit and get other capital a little faster. Yep. I'm with you, Pierre. Peace out, brother. Keep up the good work, man. I see you grinding, man, all the time, man, and that's what we need, man. We need people in the trenches, man. Need people in the trenches. Give it to me again, Bethany. I didn't get it. Yeah, if your personal credit is 730, 740, 750, you can go get a $100,000 credit line right now for business, even if your business opened today, because you're going to personally guarantee that credit. That's what we teach in the Black Wealth Movement. So you got to understand all of the strategies needed for you to build actual wealth. It's not just about working hard. Working hard is a strategy. It's not the only strategy. You have to work hard to build wealth, but using your labor only for building wealth will wear you out, and you will end up 40, 50 years from now with a worn out body and still no wealth. You have to work hard. That is one of the strategies. Then you have to understand the system that you're working hard in and how to maximize your efforts within that system. That is another strategy. And we teach you a strategic approach to building wealth. Any more questions? Okay, that's what I was waiting on, Bethany's for the last one. Southern Butterfly Entertainment LLC and SB Essential Oils. The proper way to network is always bring something to the table first. The proper way to network is always bring something to the table first. The proper way to network is always bring something to the table first. I can't tell you how much stuff I've done for people simply because they did something for me first. Because when they came to the table, they didn't say, help me do this, that, and the other. They came to the table and said, hey, I see you are a financial educator. How can I help you get your message out to more people? They didn't come and say, you're a financial educator, buy this product that I have that can sell to your client base other financial instruments. That's not networking. Hey, brother, I see what you're doing and I'm impressed. How can I help you take your stuff to another level? Bring something to the table first. if you want to network with people. People want to pick my brain. If they're not bringing something to the table first, even if they have no plans on paying me and they say, hey, brother, I want to sit down and pick your brain. How much will something like that cost me? A lot of times I say nothing. What you got? I give you 2 questions for free. Right? Because they came with the right approach. If you want to pick my brain, you understand that my brain has value in it to be picked. And you're offering to compensate me for that picking of my brain. That tells me that you have some sense of intelligence about how to do and conduct business. When I want to go network with somebody, I bring something to the table. Hey, I saw what you're doing. That's amazing. I'd like to give you an opportunity to be on my show and introduce you and what you're doing to my audience. Can we make that happen? Oh man, that's amazing. Yes. Yes. Let's connect. You want to make a good first impression on somebody? Let them know you're impressed by them. Should I catch that one? When you want to make a good first impression on somebody, let them know you're impressed by them. Let them do all the talking about how wonderful they are and let them know that you're impressed by that. And then you ask them, how can you serve them? Then, when the relationship is developed, there's going to be a natural reciprocal intent and built-in reciprocity because you first served them. Now, when I do that for people and they come on the show and I serve them first, we instinctively by nature, even though I'm not asking for anything, they just feel like they owe me something because I served them first. That's natural, innate, built into the relationship from the very beginning, reciprocity. Natural, innate. You must be 3 minutes fast, Bethany. I got 7 after, but yeah, we're at the top of the hour. So bring something to the table first when you want to network, right? Not just bring something to the table because everybody brings something to the table. You got to bring something to the table first of value that you're willing to give of yourself. And then let the relationship be built on that versus the relationship being built on how can you help me? No, how can I help you? And we build from there. So this was fun as usual. Follow Credit Suite on Facebook for great information on building business credit. Good tip, Lawrence. Follow Credit Suite on Facebook for great information on building business credit. Awesome. How do you build young black entrepreneurs? By immersing them in entrepreneurship. How do you build young black entrepreneurs? Put them around old black entrepreneurs. How do you build young black entrepreneurs? Put them around other young entrepreneurs. That's what Young Biz Kids is all about. We have about 30 young entrepreneurs that get together once a month, and they have a marketplace about every 3 months where they sell their goods, and we're raising them up as entrepreneurs together. Because they need to stay around each other because that's 30 of them. So when they come together, they're around nothing but entrepreneurs. But when they leave our presence, they're never around another entrepreneur as kids. So we have to get entrepreneurs together. If they're young entrepreneurs, we have to get them in touch with other entrepreneurs, young and old, and they have to constantly be immersed in entrepreneurship all the time. When kids are around nothing but entrepreneurship, that's it. That's it. When kids are around nothing but entrepreneurship, kids pick up more than they're taught. They're going to go to school and they're going to be taught how to not be an entrepreneur. And the reason I don't mind my kids going to school because they live with entrepreneurs. So they're picking up. This is being embedded in their DNA. So even though somebody is teaching them something different, the core of their being says, I'm an entrepreneur. So that's why, that's how you build young entrepreneurs. Right? Identify that in them early and get them around other young entrepreneurs. Yep, we all got to eat plus tax write-offs for the meal. Win-win. You better believe it. You better believe it. So we are past the hour. For those of you who are in the Chicagoland area, reach out to me. I will be there for a couple days. I would love to connect with all my Chicago family, those who are in the Black Wealth Movement, and even those who are not. Let's give me a good Black-owned restaurant where we can do a meet and greet, and I will put out an event here in the coming hours, minutes, seconds. And so give me some suggestions of some good Black-owned restaurants that we can meet at. I'm going to check my son's schedule and try to get us a time together. I love to meet my Chicago people and chop it up Black Wealth Movement style. And until I talk to you next time, okay, do you have a website, Mr. Cortez, for Young Entrepreneurs Program? I agree, my daughter is like that. Yes, Young, Y-O-U-N-G, Biz, B-I-Z, Kids, KIDZ.org, YoungBizKids.org, YoungBizKids.org is that website. $35 for a year. Even if you're not local to us, we do a lot of online classes as well that you can access. A lot of good content on how to grow as a young entrepreneur and some ideas on how you can connect with other young entrepreneurs. And we'll give you the blueprint on how to set up a marketplace in your city where you can get 10 young entrepreneurs together and invite everybody out and you guys sell your products so you get used to dealing with adults, you get used to dealing with customers, you get used to dealing with money, and you get used to dealing with product inventory, all of that stuff, man. We teach young biz kids everything there is to know about entrepreneurship, man. What part of Chicago? My son is playing in a basketball tournament. I will get with you offline because I don't know the zip code. I'll give you the zip code and you tell me if there's something close. I know we're staying in a Tower Place hotel. I'll get with you offline, Giovanni, and we'll put something together. But yes, I am coming. I'll be on the road here within an hour or so, probably. What is it, Lee? Romeoville? Yeah. Romeoville, Giovanni. So if there's some Black-owned restaurants near Romeoville, if that's not too far for you to travel, then let's try to find something there to meet. Just in case I can only do 90 minutes and I have to get back to the gym to catch my son's game or something, I want to be relatively close to where they're playing, right? So I'm H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur. Until I talk to you guys on Monday, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. Peace out, y'all.